hi, Simona.
Hello, hi. So this year we have finally the sequencer from Frap tools. It is called USTA. It is a 4-track sequencer where in each track we can have 2 control voltage and 2 gate outputs. The main characteristic of this sequencer is that each stage can have its own length. So while editing for example, in this case, the first track, we can select which layer we want to edit, CB, B, gate A or B, and in the middle here we have the length attribute where we can set that individually per each stage. There are 16 stages available per pattern and 16 patterns at the moment, maybe more in the future. Regarding control voltages, the 2 control voltages have row or pitch mode, so we can set notes, we can set a scale, quantization, root note, and so on. We have variability per step, so we can define, like in this case, these stages are subject to change, and with this range of change, we have so every time it will play a little bit different sequence. We can store this sequence, the last played one, and use that values as a new starting point for next sequences. We unified in terms for the gates. We unified the concept of gate and ratcheting. So now there is 1 gate per every stage. Now we can have 2. 4 and so on.
Can you do that per step as well?
You can do that per step. So we can have some step where we have a lot of ratcheting effect, and we can also apply a variation on some stages. So like in this, and set a value of variation. And every time it will evaluate a new way to fill our length, our temporal length. Regarding the time management, each track has its own. From the menu track, we can set the clock source, if external or internal. We have an internal BPM. Each track has its own internal BPM, just in case. So this can run totally independent. We have time ratio parameters from 1 to 8. Down to 24 to 1, so there are a lot of time possible, swing options, and so on. Last thing, which is super interesting in my opinion, is the multi-targeting capability of the control voltages. We have 2 control voltages input in the top. These can be addressed in all the tracks to 6 different targets, 2 pitch shifting, 2 gate shifting, so to vary the number of gate and the ratcheting effect. There is a parameter which we call vary shift to modify the variation range, so we can control how much it will variate based on an external control. But the more interesting now, I would say, is the stage shifting. So enabling it with a normal sample and hold. Now we are in the length layer. We see that our playhead is going linearly, and this playhead, using the length, define the structure, the metric of our sequence. But as soon as we move to the CVA or CVB, we see that this is randomized, so the stage values are offset from the origin. So it accesses different values, keeping the same metric, and that may be kind of interesting while varying, while performing. About performance, we can recall different patterns on the fly. So we can go now. There is an empty pattern that we can instantly fill, cloning the first one to 4 patterns. We can maybe shift up the content of 1 octave while it's played the second pattern, and we can loop from the first to the second. So now it is fixed on the second, and so we can recall them in real time, and
So
things like that.
there is a kind of pattern chaining.
Yeah. Yes, there is a pattern chaining, that can be decided by the user. There is alternatively, sorry, there is a song mode available with 64 slots where you can set for each slot you can set which pattern and how many times it repeats. But this is a sort of static structure. You can only recall a small variation per time. With the pattern mode, you can set a start and stop point and move these points while playing. You can also change from song mode to pattern mode in real time while playing.
And you said that the kind of 4 sequences can be completely independent.
Yes.
Could you, for instance, have, say, 4 different clocks coming in and then switch back to like a division of clock or all of the same clock?
You have only one clock input, but you can use different division per each track. You can use 4 different clocks like as an internal clocks. So you can set like the first track at 120, 130 for the second, 140 and so on. And different time resolution starting from that clock, that of course.
And you could switch easily back to a kind of regular, kind of all clocking the same, or like,
yes.
I'm thinking kind of like in a live set you might want to have a section where they've all got kind of different tempos and then switch back to something where they're all kind of clocked together.
Yes. No, it is possible from even while playing from the menu. You can switch also the resolution on the fly, so now it is faster, now it is even faster. And you can just select it and variate it, or use, like in this case we're using the external clock, so we are slowing down directly the clock, the external clock reference, and all the tracks that are linked to that clock will slow down, of course.
Excellent. So is it kind of available now, or?
No, unfortunately
yet,
not. It will be available after the summer. We expect end of September, beginning of October, because production is already scheduled. So, yeah, that's it.
And do you have a kind of final price, or something?
Yeah, right. It should be €749 or US dollar. I don't know the British pound. Sorry.
That's fine. Excellent. Simone, thank you very much.
Thank you for coming.